What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ThinkComputers weekly tech podcast. This is episode number 221. And as always, we are brought to you by Amazon. You can go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon. And anything that you buy subsequently after that just kind of gives us a little bit of a kickback there on the site, helps us out, keeps the site going, helps us do this podcast. And with me, as always, is Bob. How's it going, Bob?
What is up, man? I see you got a haircut.
I got one because I did it myself. So yes, I cut my own hair. Yeah. I followed your tracks as you did it either last week or week before. I don't remember. And it went okay.
It doesn't look horrible, but again, we're only seeing
you can't see all of it. So it's kind of parted to this side a bit, and I'm not real happy with some of it here, but it was the hair over my ears and just along the back of my head was driving me nuts. I couldn't take it anymore. So I had to do it.
Yeah. So when I did mine, I cut the sides and left the top, but this top is getting long and I might have to cut it at some point.
Yeah. Though I'd left the top alone. Yeah. I knew, and I haven't shaved in, I don't know, a couple days. So
that's what the quarantine life does to you. You know what I mean?
It is, but I'm still going to the office. So it's did you run out of razors or what, man?
Yeah, we have but you better watch out for those killer bees too. It seems
gosh, I know.
It seems like it's one thing after another. Well,
I was outside all weekend, and I just came in from outside, so I haven't seen any. So no, but yeah, I'm in such a better mood the last week. It feels like because the weather's been nice here. We've been outside a lot. We were outside both days this weekend, multiple nights this week. Just put me in a better mood.
It's been cold here, and my Alexa just went off before we started, because there's a freeze warning here.
What?
And it's May. I'm dude, it needs to, we had one day last week where it was 75 degrees, and then it's been 50. It's going to go down to 30 something tonight. Yeah,
I think we're supposed to get down to 40 something, but it may have reached 80 today. I don't, actually, maybe 75, but. I got the AC going.
Yeah.
Nice. It's wonderful. Anyhow.
Well, for everybody who is in the live stream, we do have our full show notes page that's listed in the description. So for everything that we're going to be talking about tonight, you can go ahead and follow along and all that kind of fun stuff. I'll go ahead and bring it up so you guys can see it here. But we'll jump into reviews this week. And I took a look at a case that I've been kind of eyeing for a little while. And I finally got it into review. And we talked about it when it launched, I believe. Yeah. And I was a little bit skeptical based on the price. And based on, it is super small. And, when you put PC components in a confined space, you do have heat issues. And every experience that I've had with Mini-ITX, it's been a pain in the ass. I like Mini-ITX, but nothing has been designed to make it easy for a beginner. I would say that.
Well, and that's the thing is Mini-ITX takes advantage of those small components, and so they put them in small cases, right? You have the small form factor, which just inherently makes things harder. Nobody's putting in a Mini-ITX components in a full-size case, right? It's just You don't do it like that. So there's those pitfalls and those hurdles you have to overcome with these types of cases. But yeah, I remember when this launched, we were talking about it, saying maybe the price seemed a little off, but then again, you get quite a few components with this. It's not just a case, right?
Yeah. So the whole gist of this is that we've seen big companies come out with Mini-ITX cases, but they're not super small, right? They're not like this. This is what I would consider a kit size. You buy these Mini-ITX kits a lot of times, where you more or less almost build the PC itself. You build the case really. And we've seen a lot of those, and they've been really popular, kind of like niche keyboards, kind of like the same type of thing. But this is 13.6 liters in volume, which it's very small. Almost kind of looks like. Here's it next to a monster, so you can just see just how small it is. It kind of is the same form factor as, say, the upcoming, what is it, the Xbox Series X or whatever.
Yep.
And the thing I like about it is that it's so easy to build in, and they've taken a lot of the guesswork out of it for you. So this comes, of course, you get the case. but then it comes with a 140 millimeter AIO liquid cooling solution and a built-in power supply. So when it comes to building these, again, these custom, really small systems, it's like, okay, yes, it supports SFX power supplies, but will all SFX power supplies actually fit? Because I've run into that issue before, where if it's modular, the ends, the connections
further or
won't-
something.
yeah, cables won't route, things like that. And then when it comes to CPU coolers, like, okay, if it's a kit case, nobody's tested this specific CPU cooler that I want to run on it. So I don't know if it's actually going to fit. Like, it's a lot of guesswork when you're kind of doing that. So with this case, they kind of solve that for you, right? They do all the hard work and they put everything kind of in this. I would say it's like a kit, that you're buying for $350 that has everything. So all you really need to supply is your motherboard, processor, memory, graphics card, and storage. And I think it's super easy to build in this too. And I was actually surprised because, again, Mini-ITX has always been just difficult. And if you're a beginner, it's really difficult, I would say. So when you get inside, it's kind of like this mess of stuff, right? But it doesn't look organized here, but it actually really is organized. Again, support for, of course, Mini-ITX motherboard. You can see the 140 millimeter AIO in here. It kind of hides right here. And let's go down here and see. So it kind of, the 140 millimeter AIO
folds out, right?
Yeah, you just take 2 screws out and it folds down. Cool. And then when you mount it, you can mount it when it's folded down like that, and then you kind of just push everything back in. It's really simple. All of the panels on this are completely toolless, so no tools. The SSD installation, which is like this little cage right here, that's completely toolless. All of the cables, as far as the power supply, are actually routed. I don't know if I actually even took a picture of that. I should have. You can kind of see they're sort of routed, except for the ones for your graphics card, and of course the power supply is routed to the bottom, so you don't have a weird connection somewhere. But the power supply cables are actually routed on top of where your motherboard sits. So like the 24 pin, all you really have to do is just like turn it and plug it in. So they make a lot of this, like, again, confined space stuff a lot more easier for the end user. It's just super simple. And then another thing that is included is you get a riser. So the way this whole process or this whole thing works is that on the opposite side, which is this side, is where you install a graphics card. And they include a riser as well. So that, again, that's another thing that is included, that you don't have to guess, oh, which riser do I need? Will this one fit? Blah, blah, blah. It's all done for you. And
so what's the motherboard orientation? I guess you're right there. So
yeah, so the motherboard sits sort of like this, with the ports towards the bottom. And I was actually kind of scared when I did this installation, because this is the ASRock, the X570 Phantom Gaming TV 3, which had some clearance issues initially. You know what I mean? When we reviewed it, but I didn't have any issues with this. It went in very easily. And then our cooler, you can kind of see how it installs just like that.
Yeah. And
then you would put fold the cooler back in. There's no point whatsoever of using RGB memory on this, because you're not going to see it. You can see our SSDs kind of slide in the top right there. And then our graphics card goes in. This supports full-length graphics cards, so you don't have to worry about that. It will support, the slot is a 2-slot, but it will support 2.5 inch or 2.5 slot graphics cards. So you have a graphics card that's a little bit longer, or a little bit taller, I would say. It will fit in there. And you can see how that's oriented as well. And I'll just go through these. You can kind of see how everything is very compact once you have it all together in there.
I mean, that's tight. You're definitely not showing off the interior of this build, right? And the glass panel is really only showing off the graphics card. Is that right?
Yeah. So you can see you have your motherboard here, and then your graphics card actually sits on the opposite side. Of course, that's made possible with the riser. And here,
is there a fan grill over that radiator fan? Because it looks pretty tight there. Like, I would be afraid to get...
there is.
Okay.
Yeah, I can show it to you on the previous page. You can kind of see it right here towards the bottom.
All right.
Yeah, so you do have that. And again, it all just slides kind of in together, and you have this really very, very compact build and everything like that, which actually works out again quite well. And then one thing that you do want to do is that this is on the bottom. So all of your connections come out the bottom, and they do give you room in case you have like weird connectors. But you want to connect everything before you can, before you put this on your desk, because you're going to have to do everything from the bottom. And if you do need to connect anything else like later, you might want to get a dongle or something like that, just because you don't want to lift up your PC every time you want to connect. Here's our final photos of with the install. You can see the only thing that we can really see, there are RGB LEDs on our motherboard, but they're hard to see. And then the Gigabyte logo on our graphics card, that's it. There's not, you can kind of see it there a little bit, but again, it's just super small and compact, and I really like that. And for those wondering about connections, you do get a USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type C, and then a combo audio port. And it is like a real combo audio port where they actually include a Y splitter. So in case you have a headset that has, of course, your microphone and headphone separately, you can plug them. They give you the Y connector there. So
that's always kind of a gamble, like cases you're either going to get that headset jack or the separate headset and mic. And so that's nice that they give you the breakout cable.
Yeah. So the one thing, of course, with a small case is that you want to, you kind of worry about temperature. So I think the system does really well. Again, it's 140 millimeter AIO, and our CPU temperature on a Ryzen 7 3700X is 37 degrees, and our GPU is around 58, which is a few degrees higher than probably usually 55 is kind of the normal. And again, this is a GPU that turns its fans off when it's not, doesn't have a load. But then if you look at our performance tests, we ran 3. We ran the load test in ADA64, the system stability test. We ran 3D Mark Time Spy, and we ran the Heaven benchmark for GPUs. Here you can see that our CPUs, for the most part, it's pretty much in check. 70 is a little bit high, but again, it's pretty much in check. And that's our full load on our CPU on the ADA64 test. But our GPU reaches like its thermal limits, I would say, which would be like 80 degrees Celsius, which is very hot. And again, this is with no custom fan curve. I know if we had the fans running at say 100%, we would probably get better results here, but this is just stock out of the box. The one thing that's interesting about this case is that there's no room for other fans. So you have the 140 millimeter AIO, and you have the fan and the power supply, and that's it. So you do have ventilation on both sides, but there's no other, and you have the fans, of course, on your graphics card, but there's no other fans to ventilate this case. And I think that, yes, that would have taken up more space, but I think it would have helped a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Or at least some passive airflow at the top, right? To let some heat out.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. So I think that with this case, NZXT has done a couple things. One, they built basically a kit case that you would, they only make 1,000 of. They've made it mass produced, which is great, which of course brings the prices down. And they've taken the hard work out of doing a mini ITX build as far as like picking components and making sure everything fits. And again, $349, you think about it for a mini ITX case, is expensive. But again, you're getting 140 millimeter AIO, you're getting the riser, and you're getting a 650 watts gold rated power supply that has a 10-year warranty. The AIO has a standard 3-year warranty on it as well. So I think that price is fine. That brings the case to $99. You're not going to find many cases this size mass produced. You're just not. And again, as I said, this is a case where a beginner could do it. It's not that hard to build in at all.
Cool.
So that's what I really like about it. If you set custom fan curves for your GPU, or just, if you're gaming, you like change the profile to run them at 100%, you're going to have better cooling, but your GPU is going to get hot. That's just how, there's no way around that besides adding more space to this for fans, and then it wouldn't be as elegant as it is. So overall, I think it's good. I gave it a 9 out of 10 in our editor's choice just because I really liked it. I was actually really surprised. I didn't have high expectations going into the review, but kind of after I went through it, it was good. It was, like,
Awesome.
yeah, it kind of just checked all those boxes and did everything pretty awesome for me. And I would love, like, again, if you think about it, like, it's so small, it could fit anywhere. It's going to look great too. So that's what I really like about it. So
Yep.
So yeah, so definitely check that review out. And our other review this week is of a NVMe SSD. It is the Lexar NM 610. We took a look at the 512 gigabyte version of this, and this uses the Silicon Motion SM2263XT with 64 layer 3D TLC NAND. And it's like your entry level NVMe SSD. And a lot of people are like, I want the highest performance, but this is going to perform better than a traditional 2.5-inch SSD, about 3 times as fast. So you're still getting a lot of performance out of this. And again, it doesn't take up space in a case. So entry level SSDs are pretty good. Like a good, they're pretty good, and they're, besides this one, which isn't affordable, which we'll get to, they're pretty affordable as well. A lot of people, especially with all of the newer motherboards having at least 2, if not 3 NVMe slots, it kind of makes sense to just go this route because it is getting so cheap. And this is like your standard drive. There's nothing great about it. It doesn't have a cool heatsink. It's not targeted towards gamers or anything like that. It is single-sided, which is great. So you don't have to worry about, if you're, say, like using this to upgrade a laptop or anything like that, you don't have to worry about
clearance issues.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's your basic drive. It performed pretty well, pretty much up to specifications, although we did have some issues, like here in Atto Disk Benchmark. You can see where the performance kind of just like dips for some reason.
Dropped off,
And I couldn't explain it, and I ran this test like 5 times. I'm not sure why it did, but it did. And then
it's only
it's weird because, like, in our other tests, it did pretty well. Kind of like across the board, it did good. So, but the thing that comes down to, when it comes to any storage product, you look at price, right? You look at price, and this 512 gigabyte drive that gives you 2100 megabytes a second read and 1600 megabytes a second write is $115.08. It's 23 cents a gigabyte, which is pretty high. The Samsung 970 Evo 512 gigabyte is $100, and it's 3500 megabytes a second read and write, or 35 and 3000. And then you have like the Sabrent Rocket Gen 4 drive that we reviewed. It's $119, and it's a Gen 4 drive giving you 5,000 megabytes a second.
It's so much faster. Yeah.
So I just think they have this price completely out of the way. Basically, the Crucial P1 is the same drive. It is essentially the same hardware, almost.
Okay.
In the 512 gigabyte version of that is $59.99.
So why do you think it's priced so high?
I have no
I think it's because it's Lexar and it's not maybe their...
I don't know. I don't know why it's priced this high. It doesn't have like a crazy warranty. It has a 3-year warranty. Like, it just, it's just priced wrong. It's a fine drive for what it is, but it's priced to not compete with anything. I mean, you can basically buy a Gen 4 drive for $5 more than this.
Yeah.
At the same capacity. And other drives that are based on the same hardware are like $30 to $40 cheaper. So there's no point to buy this drive, which is pretty sad because it, like I said, it pretty much does what it's supposed to do. So, I gave that one a 7 out of 10. So yeah, we'll move on to Case Mod Friday. And of course, that is where we talk about a case build or mod that's been completed in the community. And this week we have a build called Ice Age Project, and you can see why it's called that. And for some reason, I just like love the blue and white builds. They just look so good, right?
They do. Yep.
This one's by Tech Cave, and it's like not crazy in depth, really.
No, I think it's a solid build that has modified some things, right? They've obviously added some custom imaging there on the side, which I think looks pretty cool. and the side panel that they took off had either the etching or
I was
sticker on
looking
there.
at
I can't really
I was
tell.
looking at the build log. I think they did that. Like they
Okay, or maybe it's that like crystallized stuff that you can spray on when I don't know.
Yeah,
A more permanent version. I do like it. I like the routing. I like the color scheme. I do. Baby blue for ice doesn't really match with me. I think it would have looked. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I would like to. I'd like to see what it looks like with maybe less of a pastel colored fluid in there.
okay.
But no, I still think it looks pretty sweet.
I do like I said, and it's interesting. Like only the CPU is water cooled, the graphics card's not. Just like different stuff that you don't normally see. It's kind of why I picked it out. And I just love like this picture. Like that's just it's good for the eyes. I just like this picture.
Yeah, super crisp. Colors
Yeah.
are great. Yep.
Yeah. So and it's alpha cool water cooling.
See now, I've never heard of that brand of PC or of the case. That
I've never heard of that
Iron V9.
either.
It reminds me of a Corsair like Carbide, right? I forget which the exact model, but I reviewed it and I was like, is this a like modified version of that? No.
No. Yeah, I think that I don't know what.
That's not a res up front, is it? No.
Right here? Right here?
Along no. Oh, sorry. No, the front panel almost looks like or a distro plate almost.
No, they took this was
a mesh panel. It looks like
and they took it and they put this acrylic in it. So yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, I think like I said, it's pretty simple build, but I think it's well done and just like well thought out and just looks really good. And all the colors match pretty well, I think. So definitely check this one out. This one again is by Tech Cave. So go ahead and check that out. And our contest is still going on. So we're going to be giving away a $50 gift card of your choice. So pretty simple to enter. We have almost 7,000 entries, 13 days left on this one. So just under 2 weeks. Pretty simple. This is worldwide for everybody too. So just get your entry in. It's super easy. $50 gift card. I'll send you, like I said, we have Amazon, Steam, Xbox. It could be anywhere where I can buy you a gift card. I will buy you one and send it to you. If you want cash, I can just order you like a $50 what is that, like Visa card or whatever. So yeah, so definitely get your entry in on that. And we're gonna move to news. And last week, the day after our podcast, Intel officially announced their 10th generation Comet Lake-S processors. And we'll go over them quickly. The flagship is the i9-10900K. They've done all these crazy frequencies, but base clock is 3.7. The max it will boost is 5.3 gigahertz under certain thermals and things like that. That is a 10-core, 20-thread processor, 125 watt TDP. The pricing per 1,000 to retailers is $488. Expect this to be $499, I would say, on retail. And then each one of these, so you have a 10900 KF and then 10900. Of course, the 10900 is the it's unlocked or non-unlocked version, and then the KF is the one that doesn't have the integrated graphics. So this one does have the Ks have the integrated graphics as well as the non-K. The KF does not. So then after that, and then you have these new F processors as well, which are super low TDPs on there. So
5 columns of frequencies.
Yes.
And like the second column has 3 lines with how many like 10 words. Like this is out of hand.
Yes.
Out of control.
So you have
anyhow.
Starting off the i7, so you have a 10700K, 8-core, 16-thread base of 3.8. The boost is the max boost is not listed, but the turbo boost 3.0 frequency is 5.1, 374 for 1,000, and then you have that goes down there from the line. Did I put the other ones in here? Yeah. So the one processor that I'm most interested in is actually the i5-10600K, 4.1 base, should boost to 4.8, but this is a 6-core, 12-thread processor. Of course, you're getting hyper threading on this. That Core i5s have never had hyper-threading before, or they did and they took it out. I don't remember, but they haven't had it in a very long time. So you have hyper-threading on this. $262 for a processor that is going to be more or less the equivalent of a 9700K or 9900K now, right? Or no, 9700K now. So that's pretty awesome.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, very, very good deal. Then we have the rest going down through. They're calling the i9-10900K the world's fastest gaming processor.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I like, again, we knew this already. Like we talked about these for a long time. It's good to see that they're actually finally here. I'm really interested to see thermals, performance, and how they do in multi-core against the top end Ryzens, right?
Yep.
Because that's kind of what we really want to see. So yeah, so we have all the prices listed. You guys can go ahead and check it out. I'm glad that it's finally here, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that the pricing is spot on most of those, especially that $262 for the.
I was surprised because, again, how much was the 9900K when it launched? It's 500, right?
Probably. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, but I thought they might, because they're adding more, and Intel, I thought we could see some, but I thought if they priced it higher than 500, they would never compete.
Yeah, $499, right? I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, so like I said, I'm excited for those. One interesting tidbit that did come out about this is that Intel might stagger this whole launch. That only K processors will be available first, which is interesting. That they're going to launch the K processors at one date, and then the other ones will come out later. That's kind of weird to me.
Yeah. Feels like a graphics card where they're like, oh, we're only going to launch the TI version, and then the lower stuff's going to come in. I'm interested though to see the KF parts without the integrated graphics, right? You could save a little bit of money. You're probably throwing it into a system that's going to have a GPU, so yeah, save some money and get the same performance.
Yeah, exactly. So that's definitely something to think about when it comes to that. Another interesting tidbit, we got some leaked benchmarks of an i5-10400 gaming performance against a Core i7-9700F. Why can't I? There it goes. You can see here that GTA 5 1920 by 1080, the i5-9400F gets almost 170 frames, and then the nice is 177 frames. Not much of a difference. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at this, the 10400 is like a couple frames difference. That's pretty awesome compared to like, say, like the previous gen, which is about 10 frames difference. I think you're going to see that we're actually going to get some, because Intel is, one, allowing multi-threading or hyper-threading, and two is that they are bumping the core counts on these, which is really awesome to see. Oops, I didn't mean to X out of that. And then you can see on this one, I don't know what game this is because I can't read that. But again, the i5-10400, 67 frames in this game compared to 65 on the i7-9700. So that's
cool,
pretty awesome. So like I said, expect some pretty awesome stuff there. I think, again, these parts are going to be a little bit better than we might have thought they would have been, maybe 6 months ago talking about them. So one of the motherboards that we didn't talk about last week when we had all the leaks and everything was the Aqua board from ASRock.
This is good looking board.
This is their Z490 Aqua. I believe they introduced the Aqua with the X570. I'm pretty sure. I don't think we had one before that.
No, I don't think so.
And this is their take on a water-cooled motherboard, basically. Again, just like the X570, they're making 999 units. Highest components you can find. What do you think of this one? Because you weren't a fan of the Aorus one, correct?
Yeah, I think I like this one only because of it's the white color scheme. I like the angular design as well of some of that.
I I think the X571 looks better, and I don't
Okay.
think I think like with these boards, like I want the entire board to be covered. Like, yeah, you have to open the
Sure.
memory slots up, but like all this over here needs to be covered with this, and this needs to go down completely, at least for
Yeah.
me.
It wouldn't upset me if there was more coverage on there, but
Yeah, it is cool to have like on each one, it tells you which, which one you got out of 999.
yes,
It's
that
really
is
cool.
pretty
Full
sweet.
cover backplate on there.
And they're doing that same cutout piece over by the SATA ports, and the
Yeah,
angled connection at the top right, or yeah, top right there.
yeah, it's a good looking board, I think. I still think the X571 looks better, but pretty cool board. Yeah, if you wanna, it's gonna be expensive. I
Oh, I'm
don't know.
sure.
I don't think they listed the price of it yet, but it's gonna be very expensive. So if you want to, dump a bunch of money, that is one of the cooler boards. I would say
Time
one
to
of
do it.
yeah, that's one of the cooler boards to get. Talking about ASRock, they also did something really cool. Where they put out some information on being able to overclock non-K Comet Lake-S CPUs. So, of course, the non-K versions of these processors, you can't overclock. That's just how it's always been,
Yep.
right? Well, they put out this slide on base frequency boost technology, and basically the way that this works is that um, processors have power level modes. So PL1 would be what your CPU would run at normally. So like for a CPU, it would be 65 watts for a non-K version. They have a PL2 mode, which is like made for overclocking, which doesn't run all the time. Maybe when you're doing heavy CPU workloads, it will go into PL2 mode, but it typically does not. So with this, it basically runs your CPU at the PL2 mode, basically running at instead of running it at
Okay.
65 watts, it runs it at 125 watts. I guess that's a way that you can.
Get around it without Intel getting mad at you, I guess.
Yeah, the thing that I have to say is about this is that I don't know about running these chips.
All the time at that wattage and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running a
I'm sure it
65
sends
watt.
some small text saying, the lifetime of your chip may not be as long as
Yeah,
not doing this.
yeah, that's the thing that kind of makes me wonder about this, or how this works, or if it's dependent on cooling, or
Hmm.
you know what I mean. The other interesting thing about this is that this means that we will probably be able, if this is how this works, that wouldn't stop this from being used on non-enthusiast chipsets, right? Um,
Yeah.
the lower end chipsets, you should be able to use this technology and overclock on lower end chipsets, which is typically blocked as well. So that's pretty cool, I think. Um, yeah, like I said, I think it's cool. I just don't know if it would really, like I said, it could shorten the life of your CPU. I would say, put it that way.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, you're also risking that just doing normal overclocking, right? Running it faster is there's always consequences
yeah,
potentially.
yes, for sure. And another thing, talking about new processors and stuff, Gigabyte came out and said that um, that 11th generation Rocket Lake CPUs will be compatible with Z490 motherboards, which is good. So if you were,
Yes.
waiting for 11th gen, you wouldn't have to worry about buying a new processor. If you have 10th gen, or you're going to get 10th gen, 11th gen comes out, you won't have to buy a new motherboard. So you'll have the same sockets, and that they will get PCI Express 4.0 support. From what we've seen is that these Z490 motherboards, they do have PCI Express 4.0 support, but it's by the CPU. So Comet Lake CPUs do not offer it, but Rocket Lake ones will. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
No. I mean, I think this is good. Shows some good longevity for these boards instead of having to, oh, new CPU is coming out, I want to buy it, no, I can't use my existing motherboard, right?
yeah,
Just something we've come to get used to on the Intel side, quite a few generations in a row, and it's nice to see this change. Hopefully, it's something they keep going, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll obviously see that. And then so it looks like the
I'm already talking
that,
12th gen.
yeah, so that it seems like with Intel we get 2 generations per socket,
Mhm.
supposedly. So 12th generation on Adler Lake CPUs, that's what they're going to be called. They'll be using, at least according to a new leak, that they'll be using a new socket, LGA 1700. So yeah, it looks like you're going to get 11th or 10th and 11th gen on LGA 1200, and then at least 12th and maybe 13th gen on LGA 1700.
Okay.
So yeah, it seems like 2 generations is what we're gonna get, which is kind of a bummer, but it's kind of expected as well.
Well,
Because
and especially with them not having the, well, I guess they'll have PCIe 4 for next.
yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is, it doesn't bother me as much as far as like making. I would buy a new motherboard if it had new features, right?
Mhm.
Like as far as like new tech that comes out, like Gen 4 and things
Sure.
like that. But like, does the socket have to change? Can I still, like, if I'm upgrading, I want to like use my same CPU cooler, like why does it always have to change? That's kind of what bothers me, and some of the other things. So yeah, that's just something to think about moving forward. We got a new leak on AMD B550 stuff. So a new leak as far as pricing, which was in Australian dollars. It looks like the B550 boards won't hold a premium. Like you have an Asus ROG Strix B550F gaming Wi-Fi. Doing the conversion and taking out the 10% tax, they'll probably be around $150. So that's like a high end.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And then you team that with the new Ryzen like the new Ryzen 3s that come out.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a very inexpensive start to like a pretty decent gaming machine. You put like a 2070 Super in there, and you have
Well,
an
and those Strix boards usually they're going to have pretty good, feature set to them, right? They're not going to be bare bones.
Yeah, and this could be where we could see some B550 boards, like not the higher end ones, be around $100.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
$100
pretty.
motherboards. I'll take that.
Yeah, with what, $120 CPU for the Ryzen 3?
Yeah.
That's a quad core. Like,
And throw in like some 16 gigs of RAM is, one something. I mean, you're getting a pretty hot
you
build for pretty cheap.
yeah, you could do all that. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's something to be excited for. I'm pretty excited for those prices, and just being able to give consumers, you can still build a gaming machine for good price, which we kind of been missing out on the
Absolutely.
past couple years. So yeah, a new launch happened today, where PiperX actually teamed up with Ducky to launch the PiperX Ducky 1-2 Mini mechanical gaming keyboard. And this is interesting because Ducky makes keyboards, and HyperX, of course, makes keyboards, and they've kind of teamed up together, which is weird because they both make keyboards, but Ducky doesn't make gaming keyboards.
Right. Maybe it paves the way, for more product. Because Ducky, they're more that boutique, smaller form factor, not just for smaller form factor. They make full size keyboards as well, but they're that boutique brand, that they're kind of known for. Whereas HyperX, is, a gaming brand. But you get a lot of nice features on this keyboard. I liked it. I'm not a big fan of the solid red on some of it, but I get it's a HyperX product, so black and red is kind of their thing.
Yeah.
But no, double shot PVT keycaps are nice. It's a plastic build though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what I saw, that it was plastic. So I really wish it was aluminum of some sort. But yeah, it looks cool.
You can see I believe it has aluminum top plate. I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I thought it was all plastic.
I'd have to look at it. They sent other pictures, not
PC Per had a review of it actually.
Okay,
they got an early.
Nice. I know there was a couple of videos up on it as well. They're only making 3,700 units available. It's not super limited edition, but I guess it's limited edition. It is a, what is that, 60% keyboard, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you lose like your arrow keys, and they put the alternate key functions on the sides, or kind of like the front of
I
the
didn't see that.
keycaps.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
so. You can kind of see what you can do there with the rest of
Yeah.
them.
Oh, that is really cool. I didn't even notice that actually when I was looking at this.
Yep.
That's very cool. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think that it does pave the way, and it paves the way for better. Like you don't typically get PBT keycaps on gaming keyboards.
Nope.
I don't know how much this is going to be. I don't know the price on this. But so it's $109. So getting PBT keycaps on
That's not bad.
that's not bad. You just typically don't see it, so I kind of like that. And I feel if more people get PBT keycaps in their hands, they'll be changed forever. That at least I was when I first started reviewing stuff that had PBT keycaps on it. So definitely, like I said, I think you can pre-order it.
I didn't realize it was limited edition.
Yeah,
just test the water.
But, better get yours if you want.
Nope, don't want it.
You don't want it.
Nope.
I gotta get you like a nice like little keyboard.
I've been looking at them, and like everything that I want or see that I want is like sold out or pre-order, months out.
That's
and
the hardest
I want
thing.
it now type of thing, so I forget about it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that I've been looking for mouse mats just for like product lays and stuff, and taking pictures, and I want a nicer one for my desk. And I look at all these like companies that make these custom keyboards, and they have these awesome mouse mats, but they're always sold out. And as we were talking about, like the Mini-ITX stuff, it's the same thing. It's always sold out. It's hard to find. Yeah, I would like something that matches this keyboard, but I can't find anything yet. So, talking about something really interesting, and it's kind of crazy if you read into it. Researchers have found a way to essentially hack your computer, or install. They install malware on your computer that uses your power supply to send the information that you're typing in your computer. And you guys we have the demo that they showed, and it's kind of crazy to think like this is possible. Basically, the malware alters your CPU workload, causing the power supply to change its ultrasonic frequencies. Then this frequency gets detected by a smartphone with a maximum distance of 5 meters away. It works by recording vibrations from a PC power supply between 20 kilohertz and 20 megahertz range. The vibrations are like coil whine, so I'm sure if anybody's had a Gigabyte graphics card, you know what coil whine is. And this stuff at least from the power supply, it's inaudible to humans, but our phones can
above
pick it
that
up.
20 kilohertz. Yeah.
And they're able to do this where I can probably
they were doing it. They have another one where it's by fan speed, right?
Oh,
and they can adjust the fan speed.
But you can see they're typing into the computer, and then they go into their smartphone, and it's coming up what they typed on the. It's just crazy that it's all being done through the power supply, through adjusting the frequency through the power supply. It is crazy to think like you would never think about that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. It makes me wonder though, like what power supply they're using and testing this with. Does it affect just like your OEM type power supplies that come with a Dell or an HP or something? Does it also affect a high-end power supply that may have higher end components that's not susceptible to, I don't know, if to that type of leakage, I guess? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
does a better component drown that out, or have tighter regulation and stuff like that to keep that noise from actually escaping? I don't know. It'd be interesting to know that as well.
Yeah, I just think that it's like you think of every way to like hack a computer, and that's the only thing is you have to be within proximity. What's 5 meters? That's how many feet?
15 feet, is it?
Yeah, so you have to essentially be where this thing is, and then like how is it affected if if it's in a case? Does the case make a difference? Like all that kind of stuff, I think is is kind of interesting, but it's really cool. Check out the article. Again, we have the YouTube showing actually how it works. I was actually blown away when I watched it. We have that in the article as well, so definitely go ahead and check that out. And our one piece of gaming news this week is that Halo 2 for PC will be coming out next week, which is kind of exciting.
What year is it?
I know, but it's the perfect time. It is the perfect time. Everybody's stuck at home. So Master Chief Collection will include Halo 2, and it's completely remastered as far as it's not just like completely ported over. You're going to get 4K resolution support, unlocked FPS, up to 21.9 ultra-wide monitor support, fully optimized keyboard and mouse controls, adjustable field of view, all that kind of stuff. And there were some screenshots put up on Twitter that I saw earlier this week. It does look pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
So if you get the Master Chief Collection through Steam, it comes with that. That's cool. You can actually purchase the games individually for $10 a piece too, if you don't want to get the whole collection for 40. So, yeah, I think it's cool. It brings back the feels for me, at least. I played the Halo games on Xbox, so being able to replay them with like 4K and being able to really do all that kind of stuff is pretty cool. So, were you ever a Halo guy or no?
Nah, I didn't have an Xbox.
This guy's missing out. What did you play? Did you play like PlayStation 2 or anything?
I had, let's see here. I had the original PlayStation, and then I had a Dreamcast, and then I didn't have a PS2. I had a PS3 at some point, but they were never my like main gaming thing. I've always been more of a PC gamer.
Yeah, I was always like the Xbox guy. I never owned a PlayStation. Oh no, I did own a PlayStation 1. That was like probably.
Yeah, I mean, I had a PS1, so it was like Gran Turismo, Gran Turismo 2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Skater, and what was the Metal Gear Solid?
I've got Metal Gear Solid as well on there. So those were like the games I played, but I wasn't like that fanatic that was the Xbox. When Xbox came out, I was already out of college, so just I don't know, it wasn't a priority for me.
Yeah,
and by then I was like, okay, I'm building my PC. These consoles.
Halo was definitely the game that sold the console for me for sure.
Oh, sure.
But talking about what we have coming up next week, I will be talking about building your own PC and doing stuff like that. I will be reviewing a graphics card. So ASRock sent over their Radeon RX 5600 XT Phantom Gaming D3 6G OC. Another super long name, but actually the card
and super long card too.
The card is, but the PCB only goes.
It's short,
yeah, short. But it's actually a really nice card. I like it, and you can now NVIDIA allowed you to. They have a new BIOS update that allows the memory to run at
NVIDIA.
Or
you mean AMD?
AMD allows the BIOS. You can update the BIOS to have the memory run faster,
cool.
Which is nice. So yeah. We're taking a look at that, and I will be taking a look at a very interesting product from IceLord. So we reviewed a lot of IceLord's products, and they're all to do with encryption and securing your data. And they have this new thing called the Cloud Assure, and it looks like a flash drive. And you do plug it into your computer and things like that. But what it does is that it protects your cloud data on other devices. So you can fully encrypt, with this module, you can fully encrypt your Google, like any cloud thing, like your Dropbox, your Google Drive, any of that stuff. So the way it works, you set it all up, and you need this module plugged in your computer with the passcode put in to access those files. If you unplug it, all those files become encrypted, and you can't access them. It's just, so that's kind of how this works. So I'll be taking a look at that. Again, it looks like a flash drive.
So it doesn't do the actual encryption. It's not like offloading the encryption to that. It's not storing the data. It's just that key that needs to be plugged in.
Yes, it's the key that needs to be plugged in. And it uses the same encryption processor that's in their DiskAssure products to do all that stuff. Really cool, and it has all the safety features that the flash drives have too. So like all of these are all the buttons are shine proof. This is all the certifications actually in the drive itself, all that kind of cool stuff. So yeah, so I'll be taking a look at that. And then you'll be taking a look at the NZXT Kraken Z73. And this is the new Kraken line, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the Z73. It's the one with the LCD screen on the pump housing. 8th gen Asetek kind of design there. It's a 360 millimeter radiator. So, nice. Of course, 320 millimeter fans on there. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty expensive, $279.99.
It is, yeah, for a 360 rad, all in one, expensive. But if like that custom screen is your thing, you can load up. Obviously NZXT has cam, and they've got some custom, images you can put on there. But you can also put your own animated GIF on there, so you can have it show your own logo. So if you're a streamer or a content creator and you want that PC in the background with your logo on there, you can definitely do that. So if you want that customization, you got to pay for it. So
yeah, I do like that whole idea. I've been waiting for them to do something like that, because you would think after like the original Kraken, like we need,
I mean, the Infinity Mare still looks cool.
Yeah,
and looks great, like with the X63 we reviewed recently. But this definitely takes it up a notch.
Nice. Well, definitely excited to go ahead and take a look at that. And we're coming to almost the end here. Is there anything interesting that you've done this week, tech-wise? Any?
No, I mean, I started using that. I mentioned last week I got a SD card reader, and I started using it, and like I don't know how I lived without that thing, because popping that card out and into there, it's so much faster.
Wait. You're telling me
that yes.
So on your camera,
yep.
Instead of taking the SD card out,
yep,
you would connect the USB cable.
Yep.
And it's a USB 2.0 connection, correct?
Maybe. Oh man,
this guy.
It's so much faster.
Well, yeah, you're going.
I know it would be, obviously. It's just I didn't have a reader, and I just was like, oh, I'll get one someday. Like years
you're
later.
Going from like 20 to 30.
I'm going from a hard drive to a SSD is what it feels like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like waiting for all the images to like load up via the USB cable. I was like scroll down to the bottom, and I'm waiting for all the thumbnails to populate.
And how long did you do this for?
I mean, I've had this camera for a year.
Sure.
Before that, I had that Nikon point and shoot for like a couple years. So
you never bought a card reader?
No, and my laptop has one, my Dell. Yeah. But the thing that sucks about it, and they don't say this anywhere, but people have kind of figured it out, is that the card reader on my Dell laptop uses the USB 2.0 bus, so it's not any faster that way. So, yep. Well, I'm catching up.
Yeah,
catching up to the times. So that's been exciting. I don't think I really did anything else tech-wise. No.
What have I been doing? I got some Z490 motherboards into review. So I'm
you did.
We posted the.
You can't talk about any of them, right? Or can you?
We can talk about a couple.
Put some pictures.
Yeah,
I can see one there.
Yeah, there's one behind me, but yeah, the ASRock sent us over their Z490 PG it's Z490. Well, it's called Z490 PG Velocia or something like that. Very cool. You can see you can kind of see it behind me. Right?
Yeah.
Right there. Those are actually fans on the VRM. So VRM cooling is going to be a big thing, obviously, with adding more cores to 10th gen. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. I got another board in today, another one comes in tomorrow, and another one comes in after that. So a lot of
a stack of boards. Those are your thing, right? You're a motherboard guy. So
I am a motherboard guy. I haven't unboxed the other one, which I can't talk about. But that's like a flagship board, so I'm pretty excited for that. The ASRock board is nice, but I think the Z390 Phantom Gaming X board, I liked it better than this one.
Okay.
But we'll see how all this goes. And I'm really actually excited to look at BIOSes again, because I think that BIOSes kind of needed to be redone, and hopefully we'll see some innovation on that front, but you never know how that goes. Besides that, just being quarantined and not really leaving the house still.
Yeah.
Are you guys still on like lockdown?
So our state on, what is today? Today the 5th?
Yes.
No, today's the 6th. So on Monday, on the 4th, we're having like 4 phases essentially. We're in phase 1
Yeah.
that started where it's like, okay, restaurants can open for dine-in customers, but at I think 50% capacity, and they're limited to the size of seatings, in groups. I'm trying to think what else kind of got less restricted. I don't know, but I mean, you still can't go to the movies, can't get a haircut.
Now, do you think it's going to get worse?
In my area, I don't feel like in my area it's going to be. If it does, it's not going to be extreme. And the reason I say that is, like, if you were driving around on the weekend and you went by a Lowe's or a Home Depot or a Walmart or a Target, like the parking lots were packed and have been.
Now, where you live, did they require you to wear a mask?
No. Nope.
Okay, so in Pennsylvania, if you go into Target, that's like where we go. We do a lot of grocery shopping there. Like, you're required to wear a mask.
Yeah. No, that's not a requirement. You do see quite a few people wearing them. But I think since we've kind of really any time that I had to go to the store to get something, pretty, food, whatever the case may be, it felt like there was just as many people there as there would have been any other time. And so that leads me to believe that I don't feel like we're going to get a big jump. We might get some increase, but I don't feel like it's going to be a drastic increase.
I didn't really research it, but Kayla was telling me that Ohio started their phase of bringing things back or whatever. They went from code red to code yellow. I don't know all these things, but in 3 days it jumped so high that they brought it back.
Wow.
Because again, there's no herd immunity and there's no cure yet. It's kind of scary. I saw that story about there's like a mutated version of the virus now and all that stuff. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Although I'm not really complaining about being quarantined, because like we play video games and we're on our computers all day. So I don't, and I'm not a huge fan of people. So, but but yeah, so that's about it. I haven't really watched anything tech related. A lot of really good movies are on Netflix now. Like a lot of really good like early 2000 movies. Like all the Matrixes are on there now.
Okay,
check that out. It was May the 4th, Star Wars. If anybody, it's that.
Yesterday was Cinco de Mayo. Paired up with Taco Tuesday. I mean, I
know, it was perfect, right?
Yeah.
I didn't eat tacos at all. I had fish.
And I think Disney Plus released was it Rise of Skywalker on Monday, which was earlier than expected. Yep.
Nice. Well, very cool. So we'll probably end things here. We're gonna be gaming, right? Playing some Apex Legends. Hopefully I don't break my mouse this time, because I did that.
Yeah, you broke it last time. You had to order a new replacement, but now you're thinking
yeah, so I can't that's stretch. So back to the Model O from Glorious PC Gaming Race. I've been playing with it this week and I really like it, but I don't know. The other one comes in. We'll see. But if not, I have an extra mouse. So, but we'll be gaming over at twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. Apex Legends probably for most of the night. Do we have somebody to play with?
I didn't really do any prep work on getting any extras, so we'll see. I don't know. Who's on?
I think they might have duos. I'm not sure, but
okay.
But yeah, we'll be over there, guys. So again, it's twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. We're gonna go ahead and end things here. As I always say, if you're looking for us to subscribe to the audio version of this podcast, it's just ThinkComputers, all one word, on iTunes, Google Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. We also have just our Audio Boom page that has everything that we're on. So if you have a weird app, it's probably on there. And yeah, guys, we'll see you in about a week. So talk to you later.